So Keir Starmer is increasingly appearing as a Prime Minister in waiting. And this must be very worrying for the current Conservative government. But it is reassuring, I think, for the rest of the country that there is somebody who is making sound comments and taking sound decisions. So this morning he pointed out, as I think is perfectly reasonable, that in his opinion 16-year-olds are too young to change their legally recognized gender, and he voiced concerns about the Scottish government's reforms of the gender recognition process, and the problems with one part of the United Kingdom having one law about equality and the rest of the United Kingdom having another law. However, he didn't go so far as to back a challenge to the Holyrood legislation, which is something that Rishi Sunak and his ministers, particularly people like Kim Badenoch, are planning. I think Stephen Flynn's idea that any move to block the bill passed by the MSPs would be an outrage is perfectly reasonable. Now, it's not just this. Keir Starmer has also made it quite clear that he would repeal the law that is to grant amnesty to those people involved in atrocities in Northern Ireland during the period of the Troubles. This is absolutely right. And the idea of this amnesty undermines the whole principle of responsibility that lies at the heart of the Good Friday Agreement. And most importantly, I think, is Keir's confidence in reforming the NHS. The NHS badly needs to be reformed, and one of the areas where it needs serious attention is its overwhelming bureaucracy. I mean, the news reports which are coming out are that Sir Keir would make it significantly easier for people to self-refer to specialists, that they wouldn't necessarily need to go through a GP. This obsession that we've had with everything going through a GP, it makes it very, very difficult, for example, to get quite simple prescriptions out of ordinary business hours when GPs are not accessible. It makes it nonsensical, in fact. As I discovered the other day when I became ill with a chest infection, it became impossible. It was impossible to access any form of antibiotics until really it was too late, and then I was really quite seriously ill, and at the same time I was obliged to continue working. This is nonsensical. We need to have a better system. And this idea that the NHS is free at the point of use is a service that will look after us from cradle to grave. This is a government undertaking, not the undertaking of bureaucrats who manage the NHS. So it's for the government to ensure that free healthcare is available when we need it. And that means we have to cut through a lot of the bureaucratic undergrowth that has started to strangle the NHS. We also need to make sure that we have properly trained and properly motivated staff working in the NHS. And those bureaucrats who are failing to keep the NHS functioning must go. It's a very simple operation. If the bureaucrats cannot stop the strikes, then they need to go, and the government needs to find an alternative.